Good morning. Good morning and happy Saturday, Vicky. How are you doing?
Good morning, my friend Kira. How are you? I'm perfect.
I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Today it's a big day for both of us.
It's
And
incredible.
and I'll tell you, we went through many hoops to get here.
Oh my God. A lot of resistance, right?
A lot of resistance, but here we are. And I think first thing we should do to our versus visionaries is to introduce ourselves.
Okay. Yes.
So I'm a former mathematician turned poetry writer and a former corporate citizen turned storyteller. You might think about that's a very big transformation. I can concur confirming that. One of the reasons why together with Vicky here, we are launching Versus Harmony in Contrast is because we believe that our life stories will bring some learnings from where you, our audience or viewers, you might take something which can help you on your path for personal development and growth. Turning the floor to you, Vicky, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you, Kira. Okay, well, like you, I have been in a great transformation because I'm a translator, but I become a perceptive advisor and a transpersonal therapist. After having what I call a shamanic journey of embracing myself through shadow work and a change in perception. Because we cannot change our past, but we can change how we see it. So for the last 20 years, I may say that I've been looking for this change. I've been researching and doing a lot of things until I arrived to something that it really made me change my life. And today my focus is exactly that, helping people to go through that same path to change their realities. And let me tell you, Kira, my friend, that something that I learned, and this is what I try to teach my advisees, is that we are information. And that information has a vibration, and that vibration resonates in a specific frequency. So when we go out to the world, we start attracting people, experiences, situations that are on the same frequency. So in order to change our reality, we need to change our frequency. And in order to change that, we need to get to know that information that is hidden. Yes, it is ruling ourselves unconsciously. So I take my advices to go deep inside and look for that information. We extract the pattern, and from there we change our perception so that they are free to choose who they want to be and what they want to do in that specific moment. So basically that is what I've been doing all these years, and now I'm sharing with others.
So Vicky, that takes a lot of courage to dive deep into this research about yourself.
It takes, because it's very challenging to see your shadows, to go deep inside and find yourself. You need a lot of courage, because at the first we are afraid of doing it. You know, it's painful, it's uncertain, we don't know what we're going to find out there or deep inside. So you need a lot of courage to do it, in fact.
So you know that in life, everything, I think it's around like, you know, good and bad, pain and pleasure, courage and fear, right?
Polarities,
and polarities. And our first podcast is going to be about courage versus fear. Yeah. And what you are doing, plus maybe some of our like listeners and viewers, they are also noticing and acknowledging while listening to us, is that, you know, courage, you know, it's not the absence of fear, right? Fear will always exist.
We need fear to live in this world.
Exactly.
We need it.
We need fear to live, right? We are always going to have, like, you know, the fear of speaking up, the fear of not being heard, the fear of like how others are going to judge us.
or abandonment, rejection.
Abandonment, rejection. So there are so many challenges coming with fears. But hey, courage is not the absence of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Courage is about acting in spite of it.
Yes. Even because we can translate this into the instinct. You know, when something is coming to hit you, you by instinct you are going to move, right?
Yes.
In order not to be hit. So that is fear. Fear allows us to move instantly, and with courage we move forward. We need both.
Yes. So isn't this like a dance, like a balance?
Yeah.
Like when you and I think that we are going to tell the story of this how Versus came up, because that's in my view it's a very inspiring story, right?
Okay, yes, sure, because I love it. Everything
too.
started when we enrolled in the Mastermind Business Academy. We're part for our Versus Visionaries. We're part of Mastermind Business Academy. That's how we met. We were having classes together, and in some of the classes we have what we call the breakout rooms, that we go to a specific small room to give feedback, to share, and to do the exercises we are dealing with in that specific class. So we found each other in different breakout rooms. We started sharing, and I remember that in one room we found ourselves alone, because in general there are more people, right?
And in fact, maybe some people from our Mastermind Academy, they're gonna watch this, but without any kind of fear, I'm going to say that we use that time to getting to know each other.
Yes. Yeah, because we were alone. So, oh my God, Kira again. So I was very happy to find you in every breakout room. So I realized that we had a connection, but as you were talking, I realized that we are the opposite, but at the same time, we found similarities. So I remember in that specific class, we had only 5 minutes to share the exercises, and it was too short. So we agreed to have a video call, a private video call, to talk more about our stories, because I remember that you were shocked with my story and I was shocked with yours. It was the ninja story I told you. So on the following day, I remember we did this video call and we get to know more, and we were like fascinated, and you were talking about the accountability, that you needed to be more accountable. And I said, hey, we can be accountability partners and have weekly sessions to follow up. So on the next session, I remember that I was telling you I was struggling with videos, that I was shy, I didn't know how to do them, I was not comfortable of recording myself on video. So I remember your face was, oh, me too, Vicky, what are we going to do? And I was like, I know what we're going to do, Kira. We are going to do a podcast together. We're going to do a podcast together. And your face was like shocked. I remember your face, you were like, oh. And you at the end you start saying, oh my God. And that's how we created, because of the fear we both had of showing ourselves to the world, bringing our message. So it's like we joined our courage to do it together.
Yeah, let me complete your story with my perception, and actually to tell our audience how Versus as a name for the podcast came out. Mm-hmm. I was listening to your life story, and somehow in my mind I was thinking how different we are. Mm-hmm. We are coming into this podcast with so very different life experiences, and thank God that we are different, right?
Yeah, of course.
And what I realized that we are like polarities. Mm-hmm. And in the same time, we complement each other so well. So when I was thinking about what would be an overarching theme for a podcast which we could do together, in fact, knowing our lives and knowing how opposite we are, but in the same time, how we can attract and we can bring so much value to our audience. Actually, I just said it's going to be versus. Yeah. And you came in. I remember our first touch based on the theme and how many versuses we found, and we found over 40 versuses in this live. So audience, stay tuned for more than 40 versuses, right? And you came saying that yes, it's versus, but it's always going to be harmony and contrast.
Yeah, because at the end it's the same.
Exactly. So to me, I had many fears, even speaking right now, Vicky. And you know the story of my last 24 hours without the internet provider, with microphones not working, being late with everything. And all these actually are challenges storming our fears.
Yeah.
It was very easily to give up, saying my internet provider doesn't work.
The microphone is not working. I'm not going to do it. In my case, I was with a stomachache the whole week. Yeah. Because the anxiety, the fear, I can feel it in my body. So nothing happened with my equipment, but I was like so scared of doing this. But we're here anyway because we have the courage to deliver a message, and that's at the end what matters, right?
Yes, and courage without fear would be recklessness, right?
Yeah.
Feeding each other. And I also think, sharing some of the fears and how fear is manifesting for everyone, I think, right? I think we always have this kind of negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever, I'm not sure how happens to you, but for me, whatever I'm thinking about a bold move, there is something back in my mind asking me, oh, are you good enough to do that? Are you worth it? Is your message going to be different than another 1,000 of messages maybe sounding the same, right?
Yeah. Is it going to be useful, worth it?
Exactly. So negative self-talk for me is something which I do battle every day. Mm-hmm. And my method of doing that is with positive affirmations. Uh-huh. People might think positive affirmations, what is going to do saying something like maybe, 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. But what I'm about to say that positive affirmation in itself will not do anything unless you take the action to act.
Exactly.
Against your fears and towards your aspiration and your goal.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because just an affirmation is not going to take you forward. You need to do something with that. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So this is my way of really battling. And the other thing which I will encourage the audience to think through, it's about recognizing what are those manifestations of fear for yourself, right? Mm. And I'm also asking you, Vicky, what are the manifestations of fear for you, and how you deal with it in a way that you don't lose the focus to your goal and purpose?
Yeah. Well, you reminded me again about the Mastermind Business Academy, because I had a lot of fears before going all in. I've been receiving their emails since last year. And every time I was receiving the email from Dean's team, I was like, I'm not ready. not yet. I have many things to do. I don't have money. I was like creating a lot of excuses on my mind, but at the same time, I knew that it was just fear. So what I did, and what I do with everything in general, is I put a deadline. You know, when I know that I'm not doing anything or something specifically just because I'm afraid of doing it, I put a deadline to myself. And even another thing I do every time I'm afraid and I don't know how to move forward, I just go to the mirror and I talk to myself, looking myself into the eyes, because fear is normal, it's part of life. So I discovered that if I was my best friend, after this self-talk, leaving aside, you know, all the fear, and say, okay, I know I'm afraid of doing this, but I also know that I can do it. So we'll go through this together, Vicky. I talk to myself, you know, and I can even feel it on my body that after talking to myself, I even feel released. I feel more relaxed, and I feel better. And I said, okay, let's do it, and put a deadline.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what works for me. And I keep promises, to myself, because if the deadline arrives, commitment and accountability, I promise myself to do it, so I need to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything what you said, and I think that we gave the audience some very good tools, you know, managing your negative self-talk. Fears are normal. Embrace them and turn them into actions with courage.
Exactly.
So get used, guys, that every Saturday you're gonna get a bit of the message from the universe telling us how we are going to do and how the universe is conspiring to give us more courage, to overcome fears, and to become extremely, extremely productive and courageous on our path to grow.
Beautiful. I love it, because it's like a guide, you know, for the whole week. So for example, this week, Kira, we have a lot of Gemini energy, because the sun is there, Jupiter is there, Venus is there. So the recommendation, or the tip, let's say, for this week for our visionaries, is that embrace the duality of courage and fear as you navigate the energies of these movements, you know, of these alignments. Because one thing that has the Gemini energy is that it doubts itself. We all have Gemini energy in our life, okay? So there is one part of ourselves that is always doubting, that is always asking for recommendations, is always asking for the answers outside. So that creates a lot of fear of, oh my God, I need to take a decision and I don't know what to do. Yes. And this is like the message when Gemini connects with his own soul, with his essence. All the answers are inside. That wisdom is inside. So embrace that duality of courage and fear, and just trust your instinct, trust your intuition. You can ask for advice, but as Miguel Ruiz said in his fifth agreement, listen, but be a skeptic, you know? You can take advices, you can take recommendations, but the last word is inside of you. So don't be afraid of choosing something, because it's just an experience. There are no mistakes. It's only an experience. And courage and fear, remember that they are together. They are just one.
I think everyone is going to enjoy this magic message from the universe. And guys, take it in. Take whatever learnings or guidance you are receiving every Saturday, And now it's time for some call to action, right?
Yeah,
So,
please, Kira, go and tell them, our visionaries.
yes. So here is what we would like that you guys you're gonna be doing. First of all, like us or dislike us on our YouTube channel. Yes. But also ask yourself some questions. What is your current fear? And what ways to overcome it you could find? Second will be, did you resonate it with our first versus harmony in contrast podcast? And did you recognize yourself in some of the examples, life examples, which we just shared with you today? I do hope that our first podcast steered some courage for you to listen to our second one, because we are going to be here every Saturday, early in the morning, starting with 9 a.m. Central Europe. And by then, keep being courageous, be fearless, and keep the versus up, balancing in harmony.
Yeah. Embrace that contrast and keep harmonizing it. Until next time.
Until next time. Ciao, Vicky. All the best to you.
Ciao, Kira. It was a pleasure to be here with you.